Good afternoon. Welcome to BYJU'S Exam Prep. My name is Savitri Krishnamurty. I teach English and Logic at BYJU'S. As you know, every Tuesday we do an editorial analysis which will help you in your reading comprehension section of any aptitude test. The Maharashtra CET is just done. We have CMAT coming up next. So this editorial analysis will help you in the RC section of CAT, ZAT, MAT, CMAT, MAT CET, whatever exam you are taking. As usual, I have chosen an editorial which is on an interesting and important topic. Today's topic is gender disparity in India. You know there exists a lot of gender disparity despite Women's Day and all those celebrations. So let's look at what the Hindu editor thinks about gender disparity in India. As usual, I'm going to show you each slide for 40 seconds, 40 to 45 seconds, and then I'll summarize the slide for you. After which we will answer the questions. Your time starts now. All right. I hope you read that. What does the author say? In the quest for equal rights for women in all spheres of life, every act that justifies hierarchy means ranking. Somebody is superior, somebody is less, or othering, and a patriarchal mindset must be shunned today. If you want equal rights for women, then you must do away with hierarchy and any mindset that keeps women in an inferior position. Seeking the right to choose her own identity, Mrs. Divya Modi Tongia had petitioned the Delhi High Court that she be allowed to revert to her maiden name after her divorce comes through. So the whole editorial is based on a case, a petition filed by Divya Modi Tongia saying that she's had a divorce, so she wants to change back her name to her maiden name. So she must have taken her married name, must have taken her husband's surname after marriage, and she wants that she should be allowed to take her maiden name, her name before her marriage, that is her father, parents' name, whatever was her surname then. She landed in court after running into a barrier, so she faced problems. What sort of problems? A government notification which said a married woman who wants to use her maiden name after divorce must furnish divorce papers or a no objection certificate. So what did it say? You can't just use your maiden name like that. You need two things. Either you have to show your divorce papers, these are my divorce papers, or you should get a no objection certificate from the husband. So look at the unfairness of the situation. The Delhi High Court has sought the union government's response by May 20th. So the High Court read this. It said, oh, is it true? Let's get a clarification from the union government, from the central government, and it told the central government, we want your reply. Is this really true? Is this a rule? Have you passed this rule? If so, let us know. The Delhi High Court has sought the union government's response by May 28, which is the next day of the hearing. In her plea, Mrs. Modi states that the notification is gender biased. This notification passed by the government is against women. It is biased. It is prejudiced against women. And it creates unnecessary restrictions for women who seek to exercise their constitutional right to choose their name. The Constitution gives you the freedom, the right to choose your name. And here the government is saying you need the husband's no objection certificate, or you have to show divorce papers as a proof if you want to change your surname. So she says this is against my constitutional rights. All right. Next. In her case, a change of by violating Article 14, 19 and 21. So she quoted Article 14, 19, 21 which grants a woman's right to choose her own name and any person's right to choose their own name, and she says this notification is against it. Now the author's view. The very idea of an NOC is objectionable, divorce proceedings or not. I'm an adult. I want to change my name. Why should I get a no objection certificate from anybody? So the author is saying the very idea of an NOC is objectionable, divorce proceedings or not, and is reflective of a deep-seated misogyny. Any word which starts with MIS generally means hatred. Misogyny, figure out what is the meaning, that wants to control an individual's preference. Mrs. Modi Tongya should be able to choose whatever surname she is comfortable with and not have to fight for it. Here the government is making her fight for it, and the government and the author says she should not. She should have the full freedom to choose whatever name she wants. All right, the next paragraph, again I will show it to you for 45 seconds. Start. Good afternoon, Sonu. I saw your thing came up just now. All right. So what does the second paragraph say? Women have often complained of harassment when they have taken the path less trodden. Normally, women do whatever is asked of them. When you want to do something different, that becomes the path which has been taken by fewer women. That's why it's called path less trodden, a road that you normally wouldn't take. So they have faced harassment when they've tried to be different, when they have not followed the tradition. For instance, women who have decided not to opt for their husband's surname after marriage face a barrage of unnecessary questions and a mountain of paperwork, say while opening a joint bank account or during a child's admission in school or applying for a passport. Okay, so take the simple case. You don't want to change your surname after marriage, but you face questions. When you want to apply for a passport, you are asked questions. For a child's admission in school, you are asked. Even for a joint bank account, you are asked questions. A society that's already battling caste-based hierarchies should not add to the discrimination by giving an upper edge to anyone in a relationship. In a relationship, in a marriage, husband and wife, man and woman are the same. Do not give an advantage to one gender, but work towards. So our society is already having enough problems, enough discrimination, enough disparities. Don't add gender to it. Don't add unnecessary disparities which are already there. But work towards, so we as a society should work towards safer spaces without gender bias, difference and humiliation. In India, the most populous country in the world, stark gender disparities persist, both politically and socially. Unfortunately, in India, there is gender discrimination both in the political and social sphere. Women do the most of the unpaid work at home and are often edged out of the labor force for various reasons. When you want to go to work, there are various reasons for which you somehow find yourself out of it. What a girl or a woman can or cannot do is often laid down by the men in the family. Sometimes women too acquiesce to such indignities in the name of tradition. So a man tells a woman what she cannot do, and women also often agree to this in the name of tradition, because traditionally men have gone, traditionally men are doing this. So in families, the men tell girls, you need not go to work, you should not go to work, you need not study, you need not do professional education, anything. And women also agree by force of tradition. So what is the author saying? The United Nations has said that the greatest human rights challenge right now is achieving gender equality and empowering, giving more power to women and girls. Paying lip service, just saying it, oh, International Women's Day, we want gender equality, just saying it instead of doing it, that's what is called lip service. You're just saying it. उसमें तो कुछ भी नहीं फर्क पड़ेगा. So just saying it, doing lip service that women are equal without effecting, without actually bringing about real changes on the ground with legislative backing and strong social frameworks defeats the very purpose. You cannot just say women's equality without passing laws and giving all kinds of supports to make sure that such equality is implemented. That's what the author says. All right? Okay. First question. Which of the following best sums up the author's central argument in the passage? So 4 sentences have been given. Which one best aligns with the author's main purpose? He talked about gender disparity in India, says they exist, and says that the government should do something to implement, to ensure that women's equality and empowerment is real. A woman has the right to choose her own identity. Women should bow to tradition with regard to name and surnames. Women should not complain about harassment when they choose offbeat path. Offbeat means not common, uncommon. Women are responsible for the indignities they face in the name of tradition. What do you think is the author's central argument? Do you think the author is supporting a woman's right to self-determination and having her own identity and personality? If yes, then it's option A. Do you think the author also is one of those male chauvinists who does not want gender equality? Then you can look at other options. So tell me which is the right option. A, B, C or D. A woman has the right to choose her own identity. Women should bow to tradition where names and surnames are concerned. They should not complain about harassment when they do uncommon things, or they themselves are responsible for their indignities. What is the correct answer? A, B, C or D? Quickly give me your answer before I move on to the next question. Obviously, we know that the author is in favor of women's right to self-determination, women forging their own identity in society. So the correct answer is obviously A. Alright, question 2. Which of the following is true according to the passage? Okay, so that means one option will be there in the passage, the other options would be against what has been said by the author or irrelevant, out of scope of the passage. Some acts that support the patriarchal mindset are justified. Do you think the author said this? Choosing one's name is a constitutional right. Did the author say this? There are few caste-based hierarchies existing in India. बहुत कम है. Caste-based hierarchies है, लेकिन बहुत कम है. That's the difference between few and a few. A few means a small number. Few means hardly in. एकदम बहुत कम ना होने के बराबर. That is few. A few means a small number. The Delhi High Court reprimanded the government for its bias notification. Reprimanded means scolded, censured. Did it do that? It just sent a letter to the government asking, ye sach hai kya? Have you sent such a notification? So obviously this is not correct. There are few caste-based hierarchy. It says our society is ridden with caste-based hierarchy. There are too many according to the author. So this goes against what the author is saying. Choosing one's name is a constitutional right. It's that on that basis the plea was made by Ms. Modi, saying that look, what you've done is wrong. Why should I get an NOC to choose my maiden name because my choice of name is a constitutional right, and she cited the articles in the Constitution according to which she has a right to revert to her maiden surname. So the correct answer is obviously option B. Why did Ms. Divya Modi Tongya land in court? She landed in court. After her divorce, she landed in court. Why did she land in court? Did she have to go to a court, face the court? Why did she have to do that? She used her maiden name after her divorce unofficially. Her husband objected to her using her maiden name. The banks refused to accept her changed surname, or she was required by a government notification to furnish some papers if she wanted to use her maiden name. Let's go back to what the passage says. Right? So, Mrs. Divya Modi Tongya, Ms. That is, you need not know if that person is married or not. By MS, it would stand for Miss or Mrs. So, we say Ms. Had petitioned the Delhi High Court. She sent a petition saying, I should be allowed to use my maiden name. But she landed in court because there was a government notification. And according to the government notification, a married woman who wants to use her maiden name after divorce must either give evidence of divorce through her divorce papers or get an NOC from her husband. So why did she go to court? Because अभी सुनाई दे रहा है, ब्रेक हो रहा है. Okay, somebody in the tech team will look after it. Voice breaking. All right. So why did she go to court? She used her maiden name after her divorce unofficially. She just sent a petition saying, I want to use it. So A is wrong. Her husband objected. The notification said he should give a no objection certificate. That does not mean that he objected to it. The banks generally ask women for lot of explanations if they use their maiden name, but it doesn't say they refused to accept or she had gone to a bank. So C is wrong. Yes, she was required by a government notification for this. Shreyans, I will ask someone in the tech team. Just give me a minute. Okay? Just give me a minute. I've sent a message. Echo हो रहा है बहुत ज़्यादा. ठीक है. I will ask them to set it right. Okay? All right. Question 3, the answer is D. Till they set it right, I will wait. Answer question 4. Question 4. The very idea of an NOC, I will just get it set. Okay, just give me a second. All right, I'm back. Sorry for that. I had to call, so I went out and made the call. All right, next question. Read the following statement by the author. The very idea of an NOC is objectionable. So this line has been taken from the passage. The very idea of a husband giving a no objection certificate to his wife using her maiden name in case of a divorce. Why? He says the very idea that the husband has to give, the wife has to get the no objection certificate from the husband is objectionable. It is wrong. You raise an objection to it. It's unfair, whether there are divorce proceedings or not. It is reflective of a deep-seated misogyny that wants to control an individual's preference. And this idea of an NOC shows that the society has deep-seated misogyny, and it makes the men control an individual's preference. What is the assumption? What is the author taken for granted in this statement? इस statement में आपको क्या information मिल रहा है? Why is the author saying it? What is he taking for granted when he makes this claim? That is the assumption. The author supports misogyny. Does he support misogyny? Any word that is mis means hatred, deep dislike. Gyne means woman. So misogyny means bias against women, disliking women. Alright, do you think from the tone, from what the author has said, that he is supporting misogyny? He's saying this is wrong. An NOC, asking an NOC for a name change is wrong whether there's a divorce or not. Does that show that he supports misogyny? He is against misogyny. There exists deep-seated misogyny in India, and an NOC for a name change is not easy to obtain. Alright, so basically what is the author taking for granted when he says this? Which is the assumption? A, B, C or D? Quickly give me your answers. Sonu, Shreyans, everybody quickly give me your answers. A, B, C or D? The answer is that there is deep-seated misogyny. How do we... They are trying, Shubham, they are setting it right. Alright, till then, we don't know. He says it shows that there is misogyny. That doesn't mean that the author is against misogyny. Therefore, the correct answer is that what is assumed? That there exists deep-seated misogyny. He says this notification shows misogyny. That means there is misogyny in India. Alright? Okay. Question 5. In India, the most populous country in the world, stark gender disparities persists both politically and socially. What conclusion can you draw? Look at the statement. Which statement is definitely true based on what is given? That is the conclusion you will draw. Okay? In India, we are fixing the sound issue, so give me a second. Alright? You figure out the answer while we are fixing the sound issue. Alright, is it better now? Shubham, annoying sound chala gaya? ठीक है? Alright, now look, tell me yes or no, give me a thumbs up. Alright, now what conclusion can you draw? If the statement says India, the most populous country in the world, one conclusion in India is the most populous country in the world, but that has been given, it's a restatement. Stark gender disparities persist both politically and socially. So can we conclude that there is political and social disparity in terms of gender in India? Right? Now look at the options. Gender disparities in India are the highest in the world. Has the author compared? India's population is the highest in the world, that we can conclude. But can we say gender disparities are the highest in the world? No. Since independence, social disparities have grown while political disparities have narrowed. Has he given a comparison between social and political? He says both kinds of disparities exist. But has he said one is greater than the other? No. Therefore, this is not correct. Gender disparities are proportionate to the population of the country. All right, he says in India, the most populous country in the world, there exists great gender disparity. But that from there can we conclude that the greater the population, the greater the gender disparity? Not necessarily. That's not 100% true. Therefore, the correct answer is that there exist, stark means severe, disparities based on gender in India. Okay. All right. So option D is the correct answer. Excellent. All right. Which of the following is the author most likely to support? So you have to look at an option which aligns with the author's main point. All right. What's the author's main point? There are gender disparities in India. We should work to get rid of gender disparities. Women and men are equal. Women should be given more power, more rights. They should have their own identity. They should be allowed to do this and that. So that's generally what the author is saying. So which one is he likely to agree with, given his statements on India? Women should be tied to the names of their husbands. Women should not be tied to the names of their husbands. Surnames are crucial for the identity of a woman, or a married woman's identity is justifiably subsumed. Subsumed means absorbed in her husband's identity. Obviously, the author is supporting the lady's fight for her identity, for using her maiden name. So he would not agree that a woman's name should be tied to the name of her husband. He would not say surnames are important for a woman. She can choose her own name. He would not say that a woman's identity is part of her husband's identity. She doesn't have her own identity. So he would support the fact that women should not be tied to their husband's name. They have the right to choose any name they want. That is their constitutional right. All right, so the correct answer is B. Which of the following best explains the meaning of patriarchy? Paternal, fatherly, patriarch, father figure. So what is patriarchy? Something related to father. He calls that the system encourages patriarchy, where men decide what a woman should do, shouldn't do. Therefore, what do you think is the meaning of patriarchy? A family where the father is the sole breadwinner. Do you think it's all about kaun paisa kamata hai? If the father is the main breadwinner, then that's a patriarchy. Or is it a system or society controlled by men? Because men obviously are the father figures. All right, so the correct answer is B, a system or society controlled by men. The antonym of shunned as used in the passage. You should shun such things. Shun means, what is the meaning of shun and what is its opposite? Ignored, rejected, baffled, or sought. Shunned. How has shunned been used in the passage? Such a patriarchal mindset must be shunned totally. The author is against a patriarchal mindset. So if he says a patriarchal mindset must be shunned, what is he saying? Must be pushed away, must be avoided. But the question is asking us the opposite or the antonym. So shunned means ignored, rejected, not baffled. Baffled means surprised, stunned. Sought means to seek, the past of to seek, to search, to try to get something. So shunned means to ignore or reject something. So the opposite of that is to try to get something, to seek something. So the correct answer is D. Question 9. What is the meaning of misogyny? We've done this already. M-I-S, misanthrope. Anthrop means man, mankind. Hater of mankind is a misanthrope. Gamos means marriage. Misogamy is hating marriage. Hatred of marriage is misogamy. Hatred of mankind is misanthropy. Hatred of women is misogyny. Okay, think of the word for hatred of men. Tell it in the next class, next Tuesday. All right? Okay, so the correct answer is C. Misogyny means hatred of women. What is the meaning of the expression upper hand? No partner in a family should be given the upper hand. Upper hand means what? Plan, strategy, impotence, or advantage. What is the meaning of upper hand? Having an upper hand means having a plan, having a strategy, being impotent, or having an advantage. Yes, the answer is having an advantage. Okay, so having an upper hand is having an advantage, and the correct answer is therefore D. All right, there were lots of phrasal verbs that were used in the passage. I've chosen 3 of them. Match the phrasal verb with its meaning. She landed in court because of the petition of using her maiden name. Women who choose the unconventional path run into many obstacles. So if you run into, contextual meaning of run into, women are edged out of the local market. So what does landed in mean? Get into a difficult situation. What does run into mean? You face or you encounter a lot of problems. Edged out of the labor market means to be forced out. So A3, B1, C2. So the correct answer is D. Good. Identify the grammatically correct sentence. The sentence that was given in the passage was correct. What have I done? I have added, deleted certain words. But I know you may not remember what was there in the passage. The Delhi High Court has sought the Union government's response by May 28th. The Delhi government has sought for the Union government's response by, has sought the by, has sought for by, has sought for through, has sought for on. What do you think is the right answer? The Delhi government has sought the Union government's response by May 28th, has sought for the Union government's response by May 28th, has sought for the Union government's response through May 28th, or on May 28th. Sought and to seek doesn't take an F. Therefore, sought is itself enough. Therefore, A is the correct answer. All right. I hope you could hear at least more than half of the class. All right, without the irritating echo. But I apologize for the technical glitch. Hopefully next Tuesday we will not have it. Use our CAT College predictor. Any doubts, any questions about our course, fill the form and one of our counselors will get in touch with you. Join any of our social media channels to get updates on our courses, our YT sessions and our app sessions. I will see you again next Tuesday at 12 noon. Until then, bye-bye, take care and thank you.